Hey kiddos, today we are going to be working on a shortcut to what we've been doing, which is graphing standard form. So instead of converting into y equals mx plus b, today we're going to learn how to use the x and y intercepts to graph directly from standard form. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about what an x and y intercept are. So remember, the x and y intercepts are the points where our line is going to cross those axes. So the x-intercept is the point where the line crosses the x-axis. The y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. Now, we've been graphing y equals mx plus b using the y-intercept and the slope. We've also been looking at standard form and then converting that into y equals mx plus b so we can graph. But today, we are going to use a shortcut, and that involves dividing our number in standard form by the numbers in front of x and y. Okay, so to graph from standard form, what we're going to do is we are going to find the x-intercept by basically ignoring the y value. We're plugging in 0 for y, and then we're going to solve. The y-intercept is found by ignoring the x value. We're plugging in 0 for x and then solving. So even that is going to have a shortcut. I'll show you what I mean right here. So to find the x and y intercepts, we're plugging in 0 for the opposite value. So to find the x-intercept, we plug in 0 for y. Now, plugging in 0 basically means that that number goes away. So we are going to take 15 and we're going to divide that by the number in front of x, by 5. Okay, 15 divided by 5 is going to give us a value of 3. So that means that on the x-axis, I would graph the point 3, 0, and that would be my x-intercept. Now to find the y-intercept, we're going to do the same thing, but here we're going to be dividing 15 by the number in front of y. Again, plugging in 0 for x basically means the 5x goes bye-bye. And so we're going to take 15 and we're going to divide that by 3. Okay, 15 divided by 3 is going to give us a value of 5. And so that would mean that when we were graphing the y-intercept, we would go on the y-axis, go up to 5, and plot a point there. So the first thing we're going to do is just practice finding x and y-intercepts. We're not going to do any graphing yet. So finding x and y-intercepts, not difficult at all. Again, you ignore one of the values, and then you divide the value on the right side by what's left over. Okay, another example of this. So here we have 4x minus 3y equals 24. Let's use the same concept to find the x and y intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, I'm going to completely ignore the y value. I'm going to divide 24 by 4. So 24 dividing that by 4 is going to give us an x-intercept of positive 6. Now for my y-intercept, I'm going to take 24 and divide that by, careful here, negative 3, not just 3, negative 3. So 24 divided by negative 3. And that's going to give us a value of negative 8. So again, to graph this, we would graph on the x-axis positive 6. On the y-axis, we would graph negative 8. We plot those 2 points, and then we connect them in order to graph. Okay, so quick speed round of finding x and y intercepts. Let's go through some different possibilities that we can have. Okay, so in our first example, we have x minus y equals 5. Now for x and y, there are no terms in front. So when we have a situation like that, what we're going to do basically is we're going to enter in a value of 1. So we have 1x and negative 1y. Remember, it's not 0 in front, because if it was 0, it would be nothing there. So if there's no number in front, it's going to be a 1. Okay, now for the x and y intercept, that's really easy. So for x-intercept, I'm going to divide 5 by 1. Now you can do this in your head, or you can write it out. It doesn't matter to me, okay, as long as you can get the math correct. 5 divided by 1 is going to give us 5 for the x-intercept. Now for the y-intercept, we got to be really careful because we're dividing 5 by not 1, but negative 1. Don't drop that negative sign. So 5 divided by -1. That's going to give us a y-intercept of -5. Okay, let's keep going. Next one, we have our values in front of 4, x, which is 4, and y, which is 3. We're going to divide that into 12. So for the x-intercept, I'm dividing 12 by 4. So 12 divided by 4, we can work that out in our heads. That's going to give us an x-intercept of 3. And then for my y-intercept, I have 12 divided by 3, and that gives me a y-intercept of +4. Okay, last one, just find the x and y-intercepts. Okay, again, we have negatives here, so whenever we do that, we got to be really careful. So we're starting with -18. For the x-intercept, we're going to be dividing that by +6. A negative divided by a positive is going to be negative. 18 divided by 6 is 3. For the y-intercept, I take -18 and I'm dividing that by -9. Okay. Now in this situation, the negatives are going to cancel out. So the negative divided by the negative makes it positive. 18 divided by 9 is going to give us 2. Okay. Now we're going to apply this to graphing. So we're going to find the x and y intercept and we're going to graph. Very easy concept. Once you can find x and y intercepts, the graphing part is super simple. Okay, so for first example, we have our x and y intercepts. So I'm going to take 18, and for the x-intercept, I'm going to be dividing that by 2. And that's going to give me an x-intercept of 9. So on the x-axis, I'm going to put my first point at 9, 0. It's right there. And then for my y-intercept, I'm going to take 18 and divide that by 3. Now 18 divided by 3 is going to give us a y-intercept of 6. And so on the y-axis, I would go up to 6. And now that we have those two intercepts graphed, I can connect those with a solid line. I like my line to extend across the graph. I didn't get it to hit on that side, so I'm just going to extend that a little bit. Hopefully that doesn't look too wonky. There we go. Okay, easy as that. Graph your intercepts, connect them with a straight line. Okay, let's look at another example. Too far. Okay, so I have 4x minus 5y equals 40. Again, for my x-intercept, I'm taking 40, and I'm dividing that by +4. And that's going to give me an x-intercept of +10. So on the x-axis, okay, 10, I'm going to put a point. For my y-intercept, I'm taking 40, and this time I'm dividing by -5. And 40 divided by -5 is going to give me a -8. So on the y-axis, I'm going to go all the way down to -8, and I'm going to put my y-intercept there, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect these points. Okay. We have one more example for you. Just going to go through one more example of graphing using this shortcut of finding intercepts.